We have come to the point in the program where we do our daily draft. And because today is kind of officially the day you can get the Madden game, all those stats, I've had it for 10 days now, and my ultimate team is now a 79, so take that. Because today's the day the game comes out, this is the day we decided to do a draft of the best football video game of all time. I must publicly apologize for stats for getting it wrong. I said best NFL game on the way out of last segment. It's best football game of all time, which I guess opens up, what, the high school video games that are out there? I don't know. There's no college video game anymore, so we can't really put that on there. But it's all time. That's right. There was one. Yes. There was one? There was one.
Yes.
And there are still some NFL video games, although really only one because Madden has the exclusive contract for the logos and the team names and the likenesses. So with all that said, Chris, call it in the air, and we will begin our process of picking the best football video games of all time.
I'll go heads. I hope it's it. I hope it is it because I really need it. Oh, damn it.
Wow. See, I can really put you in a box here because you've only ever played one video game. As you just admitted, that was your biggest mistake. You admitted it right before we came back on the air. And, you know, I have to go with the only NFL video game that you can currently play, and it's been around for 30 years. Have there been better games from time to time? Yes, and you'll hear about some of them coming up later in the draft. Apparently, though, from me, not from Chris. I got to go with Madden. That's the king of the hill. That's the dominant football video game, and it has been for 30 years, Madden football. And I went through a period of time where I didn't really like it. I didn't think it was any better year to year. It was just different names. I'll tell you what, from Madden 18 to Madden 19, a dramatic difference. It's a better game. It's fun to play, and highly recommend it. Best video game of all time. Named after, and there's going to be kids years from now who have no idea who John Madden was. All they're going to know is Madden is the football video game that they have to play.
Yep, good job. Draft is over, guys. Let's go to the next segment. Okay, that was a good one. I like it. Yes, it's the best football video game ever. I can't even defend this. I'm going with you for this just to talk more about it. Yeah, this is a special day. When I was growing up, man, and I mean, I just got done growing up just like a few months ago, but man, I mean, when you knew Madden was going to come out, it was like a race to the store and a race to get back home and get on the couch and play with your friends and have a few games with the new team. So it is special. It's really part of the generation. My first pick, I got to go with Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Bowl on the old Nintendo, man, that was as cool as it gets. I mean, it was really for me, the first major sports video game I played. And there was glitches in the game, which I loved. Like the 49ers had a pass play that couldn't be defensed. You could pick the play, right? And you couldn't stop. Bo Jackson, here's Bo Jackson. You couldn't tackle him unless you were Lawrence Taylor on the Giants. It was unbelievable. All you had to do is watch. Somebody's going to grab him, and he's going to muscle away, and you just pound A and B together, and he'd break out and keep running. And then the other thing I loved about Tecmo Bowl, which other games couldn't do, you could drop back into your own end zone, and, man, Phil Simms could throw the ball 120 yards to Mark Bavaro down the field. That is something.
So it was accurate, right? It was accurate.
Yes, very accurate. Look at that.
You know, but I see that, and it's like, oh, it just doesn't look very good. I always wanted a football video game that looked like it was real, and Madden's gotten to that point. And one of the reasons it got pushed to that point, and the main reason why the Madden game is now the only NFL video game you can buy, all because of 2K5. You know what, Chris? That's the one that I probably should have made the first pick, but then that would have given you Madden because that's all you would have otherwise had. But the 2K5 game that had Terrell Owens on the cover, that was the game that was available for like $29.99. I remember the night that game came out, staying up way too late playing it. And I actually had real work the next day, which made the next day not a very good day. But back when I actually had a real job, too, so that wasn't very good. But that game was incredible. It scared EA. It got EA to plunk down a ton of money to get the exclusive license, and it killed the 2K series. But 2K5, the 2K series, but specifically 2K5, arguably even better than anything Madden has ever done.
No, it's not. You're lying. Just trying to make your pick sound good. It's not better. It's nothing. I didn't realize that story. That was a nice story time with Mike Florio. I did not realize that. I did play. I played with a little 2K too back in the day, like 2K1, 2K2. Some of those games. Certainly in college with a few of my teammates, but still didn't get played as much as Madden. Okay, my second pick. I'm going to leave the NFL for a second, but go to an NFL head coach. Bill Walsh, college football on the old Sega Genesis. It did just become college football after that, it was very similar to Madden, except it was college football players until it became a whole player copyright infringement. But man, this 1993 Bill Walsh college football and stats, student body right, student body left.
That's all it takes.
All those type of plays. You got to be Charlie Ward in Florida State in that game. Man, that was amazing. Even some old school teams too. You could play with like the old Florida State teams and be Deion Sanders. That was the best college football video game I ever played, and really one of the I think maybe second to really Madden after all said and done with best football games I played.
I could go a lot of different directions here with my third pick, and one of my early favorite video games was the Intellivision football game where you had like this, it was like a telephone where you had to punch in numbers and program the play, and the center and the nose tackle never moved, but it actually required some real strategy, and you could assign what route the player was going to run, but it just looked horrible. So I'm going to pass over that one, and I'm going to go to Joe Montana football. That was the first video game that when I got the Sega Genesis when it came out in the late 80s, early 90s, that Joe Montana football game, right about the time John Madden was getting started. That was really a fun game, and it was difficult. If you put it on the hardest setting and you took one of the worst teams, it was not easy. They had like a little playoff challenge to try to win the Super Bowl with one of the really bad teams. I don't think I ever pulled that off. That was a tough game, and that was the point where the game started to look more real. And 30 years later, it almost looks like you're watching an actual game when you play Madden.
Yeah, I remember that game vaguely. As I was growing up, though, man.
Oh, you'd remember it better if it was Phil Simms football.
Well, that's where I was going with it. Damn, Joe Montana and the 49ers, they've ruined so many of my dad's years that I couldn't play that damn game, so I refused to. I'm not playing some damn game with Joe Montana on there. It keeps winning these
did you buy the game, open it up, and fill the case with shaving cream? Did you do that?
No, I did not.
Like Jeff Hostetler's shoes?
I did have the game, though. I do remember that. And now I'm really panicking because I don't really know what my third pick is going to be. And that's where I'm going to kind of Tecmo Super Bowl. Can I go with that? Can I get a ruling from the court?
No. Why don't you just concede?
No.
Just concede.
Fine.
Wait a minute.
I really don't. I don't have another game. I don't have another football game. Tell me another game that I could pick that I have played.
NCAA football? You never played that?
Well, wasn't that the same thing as Bill Walsh college football?
No. EA Sports, the college football game. It's like the Madden except in college. It's way, way different than Bill Walsh.
Okay. Well, I really felt like that was I thought it was the same thing. That was the genesis of it. So, okay, fine. Then I would do the EA college football, NCAA football.
Now, see, look, there's a certain concept in the law. When the judge helps one of the lawyers, the judge ends up being thrown off the bench. Let's just keep that in mind as we go any farther here. But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, whatever. I lost this damn draft. You got Madden first. Let's move on, okay?
Look, you play with the Texas quarterback number 2. You bench that guy when you see he stinks in the NCAA game, and you go with the backup.
Oh, yeah. You're telling me you wanted to go with Major Applewhite. That's what you were telling me, huh?
I'm just saying, one of those guys is still in football.
I didn't like about the NCAA football game, I always felt like that it was the last year's version of Madden, that the engine and everything about it was last year's version of Madden, and then the new Madden came out, so that was the more advanced game. And then the next year, you'd get the college game with last year's version of Madden. It just kept going over and over again until the NCAA realized there was no way they could keep marketing that game without giving the players some of the money, so they just quit making the game altogether, which was kind of stupid. Some other great video games from the past I mentioned in television. The NFL Blitz game, that's what we could have gone with. That was a lot of fun. NFL Street was a very different kind of experience. It was popular for a couple of years. And let me tell you, one that I really enjoyed back in the 80s, and it was a precursor to the modern video games. It was called NFL Challenge from XOR, and you can find the emulator, simulator, whatever you call it, online and play it. It's just X's and O's that would move around. But it was great. It was a lot of fun, and it required a lot of thought and strategy to pick the right play at the right time. So that was a lot of fun, too, and that makes me feel even older.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's why it's unfair. You got more years of video games to pull from. I think I remember that, where you could, like, actually type in what kind of pass or run you want to do. I think my grandmother had that in the basement of her old house.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
That makes me feel better.
Grandmother.
Well, all right, Your Honor, who abandoned his honor by actually helping one of the lawyers, go ahead and issue your verdict.
Well, just to recap, Mike had Madden, the NFL 2K series, and Joe Montana football. Chris had Tecmo Bowl, Bill Walsh college football, and NCAA football. I do respect you, Chris, for trying to go the college route, because I feel like that was your only path to victory once Mike got Madden, but sorry.
Yeah.
Mike Florio, you win. Congratulations.
I almost picked FIFA soccer and was going to call that football with my third pick. Oh, look at you with that hairdo over there. Look at you, all shiny black hair, no grays in there. That's a nice little graphic.
Yeah, that's about 8 years old. I think it's time for an updated photo there. All right.
It is.
Okay, so I win. I don't feel that good about it because clearly you were over your skis on this one. And I don't know, should I be proud that I have such extensive knowledge of football video games? But I just remember there was a time when, like, can't they make a really fun football video game? And every once in a while there'd be one that would come out and it would look like maybe it's got some promise, and it would always stink. And it wasn't until Madden and the 2K series got into that annual battle that it pushed Madden to the next level. And kudos to Madden for finding a way to keep making the game better, even though there is no competition. If there was competition, the games would be even better than they are now. But Madden is pretty darn good despite not having any competition.
Kudos to Madden for giving me a reason to miss class in college. I love to play some Madden when class was going on.
Yeah, like you would have been there anyway.
Hey, Teach, I got a big game on Madden. It's week 16 of my season. I don't think I can make it today.
Now, I'm trying to figure how you could play video games while you... Never mind. With
oh, God.
Lighter, never mind.
I'm a talented guy.
By the way, Madden comes out August 10th. Not today. It comes out August. You don't know that because you've already had the game for a zillion years.
Today's the day. If you get the Hall of Fame edition with Terrell Owens on the cover, it's available today.
Oh.
If you pre-ordered the Hall of Fame edition, you can download it today. If you know people, you already will have had a copy of the game for 2 weeks, and your ultimate team would be nearly 80.
That jerk.
And
what a jerk.
I'll remember that stats because eventually, you know, the codes are going to come floating in from my buddy Mike McFadden at EA. And last year you got one. This year, maybe you will, maybe you won't. I mean, you got a copy of the beta game this year. So, you know, don't complain too much or you'll get nothing and like it.
Do you still play, Mike? You still play the game? Like, will you go down and see your son playing and jump in on a Madden game?
No, he doesn't like playing it. He plays like Fortnite. Here's what I do. I have an exercise bike in my home.
Yep.
And every day I ride anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending upon how much I ate the night before. And I'll play Madden while I work out. Nothing else allows me to get through that workout without constantly looking at how much time is left other than playing Madden. I've tried watching TV, movies, news, whatever, sports. Everything else, I'm constantly looking how much more time, and stats is telling me we don't have any time.
That's a real questionable workout. I'll just tell you that much.
I get a good workout every day.
Yeah, sure you do. Keep telling yourself that.
I do. I get a good sweat. I'm telling you, I sweat. I sweat more than Ray Lewis giving his Hall of Fame speech during that workout. That's a hell of a workout.